Well, I wanted to do a video, kind of jump off of the last video on how we see this trending space. It's literally a consciousness in itself. What trending is, what pop culture is, what the mainstream is. We can see it as like an artificial intelligence grid that we are plugging into every day. It's easy to see it as like the internet is like that too, and how it affects our psychology, our like for me personally, when I stopped using Facebook, I could feel the difference in my body. I could feel the difference in my brain. It felt like everything slowed down. Everything in my life just completely adjusted to where I was a different person. Like I was literally a different person. And you can see that as like when you wake up every morning, also you're a different person. You're growing every day. You're not the person you were the day before or the day before that. We're always learning and expanding. So seeing that is a reality in itself, what kind of people are being created day in and day out, literally recreating yourself when we factor in pop culture, social media, the news, the mainstream, TMZ, celebrities who are doing this and doing that, and people who just follow everything that celebrities say and do. But also how you can see how that exists is the way we remember our dreams in the morning. Like when we wake up from our dreams, we come here, and what I say to people how to remember your dreams is to wake up and try to stay in that in-between space of waking up. Like transition slowly into waking. This is why the alarm clock is so needed in this reality, to focus you in on time and slow you down, because time only exists based upon our putting a mathematical observation on days, the sun, the moon, the cycles for our own observation. It's natural in itself. Like when the Mayans, the ancient timekeepers, the Mayans were keeping time, there was a whole understanding of each day. Each day had a name. Each day had a vibration, a frequency. Like each day was a horoscope of its own that we were all part of. And when you have people born in that day, they took on the frequency of that signature for that day. So we were reinventing ourselves, or rebirthing ourselves every day. And it's constantly growing, constantly expanding. And when we have stuff like trending topics and celebrity scoops and the news in the morning, we're reprogramming ourselves into a lower vibration. So back to what I was saying about the dreams, like when we wake up in the morning, you wake up slowly, and the slower you allow yourself to transition back into your body, the more you can remember or recall the spaces you were just in. So if you shock yourself here, you're like initially putting your reality back together. What I got to do, where I got to go, what's this? So it needs to get taken care of. Did I do this last night? Oh shit, I forgot that. Or I got to do this. I got to go here. Like all this is recreating your reality, and to expand that moment over a day, you can see how the design of our observable reality, and like the American dream, or pop culture reality, or just like the regular dream reality, waking state reality, is it's set up for us to live somebody else's reality. Like we're living a distraction. We're living in this this bubble of disease, sickness, and murder, and a system, just like as you can see, as simple, just to focus for a moment on how this very statement is a reflection of the entire system as a whole, even to how we make our personalities, how we understand our relationships with our family, is the healthcare system. To survive, the healthcare system needs sick and diseased people. In order for that to happen, you have to have a system that creates sick and diseased people. So you have legal alcohol, you have legal cigarettes, like two of the most detrimental, like destructive things to the body, the family, relationships as a whole. It's legal. Like, if we just stop for a moment, just clear everything out and see that this shit is legal, and the stuff we call illegal, cannabis, which it has so many healing properties and has so much the opposite, the exact opposite of what cigarettes and alcohol does, for the better. We and we're like looking forward to these people who are talking about legalizing stuff or voting for this shit. It doesn't even make any sense to have any kind of hope or whatever instilled in this system as a whole. They don't care about us at all. Like, we're already understanding this. We are literally like dogs. Like, this is an artificial intelligence grid creating, like, I was even thinking about this earlier, this whole 99%, we are the 99%. We're not the 99%. We're not the 99%. Well, first of all, we are the 100%. But beyond that, we're the 90% in reference to psychological, intellectual, brainwave vibrations. When you're talking about our maximum potential as human beings outside of a control grid, we are capable of so much more than the nuts and bolts, the blocks, the cube mentality, the Minecraft mentality of science and 1 + 1 = 2, algebra, all this shit. They are creating a system for us to exist in the 10% reality, when to keep us away from, because that's the only way that the true potential, the true power of the individual and the collective, the only way it can be held down or controlled is to totally trap the individual, the family, the culture, the entire mindset of the entire populace into a box of 10%. This is where this 10% reality comes from, or 10% of your brain shit comes from. If they're telling you you only access 10% of your brain, and you trust them as the scientists, or who are basically being your doctors for your spirit, your doctors of experience, your doctors of relationships and culture as a whole, your consciousness will install that as your reality. Just as easily as they made mainstream pop and that whole shit. They said this is music, this is movies, this is culture, this is art, this is education, this is a relationship. You have your high school sweetheart, you go to college, you stay with your high school sweetheart, you graduate, you marry your high school sweetheart, you both get jobs, you both have babies, and then you teach your kids to do that shit, and then they do it over and over again. So we are standing on the shoulders of our generations, of our, over and over again, standing on the shoulders of our parents as they were standing on the shoulders of their parents, still inside of a box, never able to get outside of this box. And this box is designed to keep us enslaved in this control grid, and everything around us is, including what we consider to be like so-called awakening stuff and conscious, all this shit is a big ass trap. It's a whole system of even if you want to go into the like the reincarnation stories of like being trapped within the cycle of time, being trapped within like the Archon matrix grid, that whole idea of being in that space, you are always yourself. No, when you die, before you're born, and when you so-called die, you are still like, I'm still this person when I so-called die. Like wherever I go, if I go anywhere, I will be this person showing up to a place. And if somebody tries to sell me some fucking bullshit about my reality and my understanding of where I come from, who I'm connected to, what I'm connected to as a whole, I will rip that shit apart. Because, and this is what this whole grid is about, is to keep you in a low vibrating space, so you do not, you base your whole reality, your whole understanding, based upon what you've learned in this lower vibrating physical reality state. So in some cases it's a place of experience, like people or beings, energies that come to this space to vibrate whatever, to affect the whole. And in individuals who are within the expansion process, the growth process of this training environment, who fall subject to the grid as a whole. This design is a prepackaged reality. And I was just walking around Costco earlier and looking at everything in Costco. And I remember when Costco hit big, and it was just like, it was brand new, and everything was just, it was just giant bags of Doritos and giant bags of cookies, and just every genetically modified piece of shit that they have out there was giant size when Costco came out. And and everybody loved it. It was like, if you can make it to Costco, like, you were good. Like, you had it made. And basically that's expanded upon, that's expanded to how our lives are. We have these families that we're born into, and we have these genetic codes that are locked into this body and this experience, but we're not limited to these codes of this physical reality. We have the potential to expand beyond that space, which is why these scientists and so-called medical professionals and all these theorizers out there create a system that locks you into a system, a psychological 10% grid of lack and disease and separation as a whole, so you can consistently create your, and it's and like in the Matrix where it says like you are batteries. Yeah, we're batteries, but when you factor in intelligent, creative intelligence, you're not just energy, you're intelligent energy. And when you're intelligent energy that is vibrating on the infinite space on a three-dimensional physical reality vessel within this space, and existing 7 billion times over, we're so much more than that. When you factor in, like, when you look at it from that, like, if everybody can just, for this moment, just look at like this whole reality as a bully, like a group of bullies and one consciousness, like the human consciousness, and that those bullies telling them you're not shit, like you're nothing, like you're only this little battery, you don't have any intelligence, you're only subject to what we tell you to do, your only potential in this space is what we tell you it is. You're 10%. Yeah, there's 90%, and that's that whole magic shit that exists, where they have to tell you, they have to reveal to you your potential, your space, and you yourself by believing that and understanding that as your reality, you shut it off. Like you shut off your potential, your experience as a whole, by believing what these magicians have revealed to you as your space of existence. So we do this over and over again when we get reborn, in lifetimes and every day. Like today, you can choose not to believe what you learned and understood yesterday based upon like just listening to this video, for example. Like anything, you learn something, you're not the same person you were yesterday. So you can expand yourself outside of a limitation grid just by seeing things at a different perspective. In essence, a shockwave through your entire timeline, through your family timeline, through your culture, through the entire collective. And when we don't engage in that space, that energy doesn't go away. Like that 90% that they tell you that you don't access just on the brain wave space, they say, oh, you're only 10%. No, that's energy. They're telling you that shit because they need your brainwave consciousness to make that relationship with your heart wave consciousness exist only on a 10% reality. And this being the space that we exist in, being the space of duality, of bridging the gaps between the darkest of the dark and the lightest of the light. If you tell people that they exist only in the darkest of the dark with a 10% space of light, then that will be okay in magic rule land, because that's what we've chosen to incarnate in within this space. And the angels aren't going to get involved. You're not going to have a savior come and do all this stuff to do it for you. You've chosen to do this for yourself. You've chosen to understand this reality for yourself. You've chosen many times over again to do this stuff for yourself. Just like angels, guardian angels can't come in and do something for you. They can't do it for you. We can only get messages from our ancestors. We can only get, otherwise, why the fuck would you have an experience in the first place? Like, you wouldn't do that. Like, you wouldn't choose to have an experience where somebody else is just going to do it for you. So we've manipulated ourselves by giving our power away to these controllers. We've manipulated ourselves into a victimized space, into a 10% grid of our reality that is looking up to these individuals who have based their entire reality on artificial intelligence. The 10%, the maxing out of the 10% of the reality of consciousness engaging in organic material, in organic life, and creative intelligence as a whole. It's been completely manipulated for us to shut down. And that's when you have little bullies repeating the shit that big bullies have told them with no fucking proof or evidence at all. Like, I don't have any proof for the flat earth. I just feel this shit. I don't have, and just like anybody else doesn't have any proof for the fucking globe earth. Nobody has proof of this stuff, but you will consistently run into people who will approach you and like try to bring you down for whatever, as if they have proof. Like they don't even have like their intuition, like for people who back up like Neil deGrasse Tyson and all this stuff. Their intuition is installed by a motherfucker they have called Neil deGrasse Tyson to tell you who and what you are in your universe. So if you can see him as like the sorcerer and the apprentice, and you're just the vessel to act out the bullshit that happens in that little fucking skit, your God is science, and the apprentice that is making you fuck everything up is these individuals like the professors and Neil deGrasse Tyson and that whole shit. They have no connection with culture, none. They're basically worshiping Christopher Columbus. They're basically worshiping Newton and Copernicus and Einstein and Carl Sagan and all these other assholes that they put on here. This is an entirely artificial synthetic reality. And these TED Talk things are this new version of telling you, I don't give a shit what they talk about in reference to consciousness and all this stuff. They are strictly, this is an entire cult. This TED shit is a cult. And they put this stuff out here to make you believe these assholes. These assholes got to pay money to get out here and tell you some bullshit. I heard a TED Talks a while ago and I can't find it, talking about they have the ability to cut off your entire spinal cord and put it on something. They've been testing this shit with monkeys, trying to cut off your head and your spinal cord or something like that with a laser technology cut and then put it on something. What the fuck is wrong with these individuals who think this? They're putting this out here for you to believe that they are the almighty, that they are the almighty ones who are, they're separating you from your allness, from your maximum potential. These are the 10%. This is what I'm saying. It's not the 99% against the 1%. That's that victimized movie script, movie reel bullshit. It's we are the 99. No, that's the fucking movie. We are actually the individuals who are looking into listening to this video right now, or looking into stuff. I don't give a shit if you stumbled on this video and hate every word I'm saying right now. I don't give a shit about that. If you made it to this video and you are listening to this, you are part of the 90% of the people who are actually alive in a space to be able to still feel their organic heart, still understand that they have something, they exist beyond technology, that they exist beyond the physical reality. There's something more that exists within us that is beyond this 10% fucking consciousness that we are sold on a continual basis by these people who try to keep you in this prepackaged version of reality. That's what that whole Costco thing was about. I was walking around in the meat department in there looking at all this shit, and it's really packaging that makes you think that it's okay to package these fucking animals up in plastic as long as you got some bacon, some fucking back fat off of a pig in a piece of plastic, as long as it's packaged by your so-called masters, your masters of the universe, your 10% boxed in reality people, as long as they put if they start putting a giraffe meat, if they started selling giraffe meat in a fucking box with a fancy little package and thing on it and put it in Costco, people be eating giraffe meat all over the fucking country. You wouldn't even, it wouldn't even be a thing. Why? Because it's a fucking hip, it's popular, it's trending, it's a new thing. Oh yeah, I love this giraffe meat. You gotta get the neck part. The neck part is where all the juicy shit is, and also what people don't know is you gotta get that the side on the back, the little quarter panel of the giraffe, that's where the tender meat. Like, people fucking believe anything these assholes who have these fancy degrees, who have these fancy whatever, they believe all of this shit. And they'll make you do and believe. And this is the whole proof of the Trump shit out there. The people believe and listen to anything. And these TED Talk assholes are the ones who are the sophisticated giraffe meat packaging motherfuckers. This is if I'm offending you with curse words, fucking oh well, I'm sorry, and oh well at the same time, because this is worth getting passionate about, because yeah, anyway, we are beyond this 10% reality, and like I was saying, that 99% and 1% shit is just the movie reel. It is not who we are. We are beyond that. We are actually the 10% and the 90% of our entire consciousness engagement with our reality. And we've been sold this 10% generic reality for generations on generations. We are grandparents, parents, grandparents who are caught up in this reality, caught up in this hopeless state of being, voting on and on and on and on again, because they believe that this is it. This is all we have. We have no power. within the collective because we're disconnected, and the only way we can connect, and this is where social media comes in, the only way we can connect with each other now is we believe it through social media, which has just usurped our collective consciousness as a whole and has locked it into another version of siphoning or filtering or funneling our entire potentiality into this this artificial intelligence filtered environment we call social media. Like, I've seen views on my videos even before this is like some months ago. I've seen videos lose views. I've seen all of this I've seen filters in Facebook. I've seen my brother's Instagram account was shut down, and all he did was put he used to do indigenous art paintings, and he put all his paintings on there at once, and they shut him down for whatever reason they make up. But that's the whole thing. They control this whole grid as a whole. And the more people get engaged in sharing information from their own perspectives, the more people will be able to see that this whole thing is rigged. This whole thing is rigged. It's all set up for us to just give our power away. And we're working with time here. We're working. This is why it's amping up so much. TED didn't exist all the time. TED just came out. TED just was within however many years. All this stuff, this is all part of the whole distraction game to keep you in this distractive bubble of not connecting to your organic roots, connecting to your organic potentiality. This 99% shit, this whole Bernie Sanders $15, trying to buy you, trying to shut you down into this movie reel reality and distract you with people on Yahoo News and stories on Yahoo, and these celebrities who are paid to shut the fuck up. They are paid to keep their mouths shut. These athletes are paid to not say anything about this grid. These musicians are paid to make you like them and not say anything about it. That's why they get millions of dollars. This is why they have these models and everything out here to make women hate themselves and hate their natural bodies, to hate their natural look. These are ways to, like I was saying before, like the European individual is only 1/10 of the entire population in this earth plane. Yet we have 90% of our entertainment is European. So, and they call us the minorities. Like, we're the minority. Everything is fucking backwards. And these are your kids learning this shit, trying to be like frozen princesses, trying to be like Beyonce and Rihanna and all these people who are paid to shut you up, to keep you trapped in this physical reality 10% grid. And we're just stuck here. We're stuck here when we don't see beyond the box, when we don't see beyond our lower chakra physical reality. And I wanted to emphasize this whole prepackaged reality before I end this video, because that was my main point. Is that this everything is prepackaged, and I was thinking about Fight Club at the same time, that single serve shit that that Tyler Durden was talking about. It's true. Like that's really how it is. We've been artificially prepackaged, and down to our personalities, down to our culture. We don't even, a large majority of the mainstream is not to have a culture. The mainstream popular interaction is to not understand who and what you are. Like, that's cool. If you start talking about your ancestors, your connection to spirit, you're a fucking nerd. Like, something's wrong with you. Something is off. That's something wrong. That's something that's seriously wrong with that. This is a high school TV-14. That's why all the shit on TV is TV-14. Is to keep you in this high school adolescent mentality so you can just be trapped in whatever gets sold to you. It's disgusting. And we call it pop or trending or whatever. We celebrate it, and we can't do anything about it because we think we only should be able to do something about it, like address it linearly. That's not what this shit is all about. The doingness happens inside of us. Each individual understanding how this system works will create a platform, a space for us to see what it is that we can do next. It will present itself naturally, organically. This is how synchronicity works. This is how running into people, all that whole thing, that's how it works. But first you have to understand your roots and your foundation as a whole before it can start to present itself consciously and within this physical reality, because everything starts at the spirit level first, then it works down to our soul groups, then it works down to our brain waves, then it goes down to our body manifestation. It starts at the spirit, to the soul, to the mind, to the body. We have been conditioned to believe that we are in the 10% vibratory space of creator space, which includes the pineal gland, the brain wave functions. All that shit is in the 10% of understanding our reality. And it's literally the bridge between the body and the soul, which is the connection to the spirit. So that once they lock down, the gatekeepers of this 10% reality is locking down. This is why the waters are fluoridated. This is why the food is genetically modified. This is why the solar plexus brain, the stomach brain, is bombarded with fats and animal foods to keep you in the animalistic mentality, the physical reality mentality. Prepackaged giraffe meat, excuse me, to keep us from crossing these interdimensional and infinite spaces of our interconnected reality to our creator space. And this is how it goes all the way back into the very nature of the understanding the creator as a whole, from whether it's a flat earth or earth plane or whatever it is. It certainly isn't a fucking NASA program. That's my main point in reference to the flat earth stuff. It's not the NASA program, and it's not, and just like the Mandela effect, sure as hell ain't CERN. Cause we got shit out of order if we put the power in something outside of us. If we put it out there, we've already started on the wrong foot. So we're talking and seeing shit as the Mandela effect, and everything that you can believe in, or whatever you call that space of knowingness, and then you automatically go to CERN. You got a fucking fear program. You got a problem there. You got an order of understanding your reality and how you create your reality that's a little bit off the center mass. Because we're not the body. Like, our shit is not created by scientists. No, they came along. These are magicians. Those are magicians calling themselves logical and rational and reasonable. That shit is bullshit. We have to look on everything. Starts on the inner plane first before it starts to manifest on the external plane. And the brainwave function is the gatekeep, is the gate space between that reality. And when we get told that our brains are only 10% engaged in our reality, and you're listening to the 10%, the 1/10 percentile of your people here, your idea of culture and engagement in your reality. That's what the mainstream culture is about. They maximize the physical reality. They maximize limitation and make you use your 90th percentile and hence 100th percentile of conscious manifestation to actually work against you. That's pretty much it. This prepackaged reality is what I wanted to get out there in this whole stuff, and related to the flat earth, the Mandela effect, and CERN, and really just talk about how TED Talks and all this shit is designed. These artificial orchestrated awakening people, this Oprah program, this whole like master class and all that shit, all these fake ass gurus and all them people trying to anything Western. All this Western shit is bullshit. Anything that is Western yoga, Western philosophy, Western, all that shit is Western horoscopes, all that astrology, all that Western astrology, all that shit is fucked. All of it is garbage. We have to understand how this shit originated. We have to go back to our roots and find out what the hell is going on before all this magic show shit popped up. So, that's pretty much it. Jeez. I'll leave it there. Thank you for joining me. If I curse too much in here, like I said, I'm sorry. And then at the same time, I'm passionate. So it is. It's there. But thank you for joining me. Until next time. Peace, love, and harmony.